That's good. That's good. So, as a kid, I mean, we usually as adults tend to make some kind of adjustments to our diet. I mean, tending to eat a lot of other junk food or other stuff. But as a child, all the other kids, he sees them eating Snickers, he sees them eating, chocolates. So, how did you teach him to eat healthy in first place?
Okay, that's a good
and that's a difficult part for every parent to teach the child to eat very healthy and also while having diabetes. Yeah.
Well, luckily, I think I had kind of started before Joe was diagnosed. I had tried to instill healthy habits in Joe and his sister Bridget. And I think I just continued. I don't know that I changed anything from what I did before to what I do now. He still can have some ice cream or some pizza or pasta. I'd like to say he could just gobble down as much as he wanted. That's not the case. We just moved his pasta serving up to about a cup. Yeah, it used to be a half a cup, but he's getting bigger, so I thought we'd go with a cup now. So, when we're at home, I maybe let him have things in moderation, but we'll go out to dinner once in a while, VJ, and I let him order a good 120 grams worth of carbs, and we just go with it, because I recognize he also needs to be a child, and I think restricting, really severely restricting things isn't the way to go either. So I'm not sure that I changed anything that I would normally do. We all need to eat healthfully,
So do you bolus him before taking a high carb meal or something like that?
Oh yeah. And some of those like the pizza and the pasta are big time combo boluses, and then I'll slap on a big old increased basil. Only when he has his CGM on, though. I'm not comfortable doing that if he doesn't have his CGM on. I would rather correct, while he's sleeping. I get nervous. And, oh gosh, I forgot. I wanted to say something else, but I forgot what I wanted to say. Sorry.
Okay, that's fine. So, how did you make insulin Joe's best friend?
How did I meet him?
How did you make insulin Joe's best friend?
Meaning
like, he has to take it, 24/7, 365 days, and he has to do that, otherwise he's going to be in trouble. So how did you teach him that?
Okay. People used to say to me that I was so lucky that Joe was diagnosed young. And at the time, I was mad and about the diagnosis and kind of in not the best place. So I felt like, how could this be? I'm so lucky he's diagnosed so young. He will know no different. Now I recognize that this is actually a positive. Joe knows no different. He doesn't have a memory of going to sit down to eat without checking a blood sugar number, without getting insulin, without having his food, measured or eyeballed. He has no memory of that. And so it's never really been an issue for Joe.
And tell us some of the best parenting skills that you need to nurture a diabetic child.
Wow, that's deep. I don't know if I possess them. I think flexibility, understanding, and teaching them to not let diabetes rule what you're going to do. I think I'm glad Joe plays hockey and that he's active. And I mean, trust me, I wanted to slap him in a Velcro suit and put him on a wall so I wasn't chasing loaves all day when he was younger. But I'm glad he's got that spirit. And I think it's important to let the kids, to not change what they can do because of diabetes. Support them, figure it out. And so I guess that's where the flexibility comes in.
No, okay. So, yeah, the next question is, how do you tune yourself to understand Joe's feelings at times when he's, when he is down, or, when he needs your help?
When he's down and it's not blood sugar related?
Yeah, in the sense blood sugar related, or in any other sense.
Well, what I can tell you is, and here's a big parenting mistake I've made a few times, is it's very hard when they're, especially the 3, 4, 5-year-old phase, and Joe's definitely a strong personality. I don't know that all parents run into this, but a few times I had sent Joe for a timeout for bad behavior, only to find out he was having a low blood sugar reaction. And then, for lows, I'm definitely very forgiving, and I would not hold him to the timeout. And for highs, we try to talk through some of his behaviors, because he can be a little keyed up when he is high. And I don't see Joe get too down about diabetes per se. But the thing that bothers him the most is the stopping. Stopping to do a check before he can eat. Stopping to do a check while he's playing. Stopping to wait for some sugar so that his blood sugar will come up so he can play more. Coming off the ice for a check. It's the stopping, the waiting. That's the parts that are a little hard for Joe. And he's been verbalizing that to me over the past year. We talk a lot, and we're a pretty open family, and so I feel that it's definitely a gift that he talks to me openly about these things, but it doesn't come up that often. It's, once in a while.
And the other thing is, as a whole family, sometimes you and your husband has to go through, this is completely overwhelming. You have to watch Joe, what he's doing, how do you lean onto your husband, when the time is, when you feel very low, or, when you need some help?
Well, we, over the years, we've come up with a system that works pretty well. First off, I'm very fortunate in that I don't need to work outside the home. So, checking Joe's blood sugar at 2:30 in the morning, which I do most nights, and if things are going well, it's just the one time. If things, if we're giving correction doses of insulin or treating lows, it could be more than once at night. So, I'm fortunate in that I'm the one that, stays home, and Dave, my husband, works outside the home to provide for the family. And so on the weekends, my husband does the night checks, and I get a break on Friday and Saturday night. And, I just think open communication. I think in the beginning, it made us stronger. We heavily leaned on each other, and then we kind of both fell into our positions. I'm kind of the head pancreas. At this point, my husband feels that Joe is better equipped to do his own pancreating than my husband is. But he definitely supports where I need it. He makes sure I get a night out with the girls once in a while. And again, I think it's open communication. And if I'm feeling resentful or whatnot, I tell him. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not very shy.
That's good. So, things you learned hard way as a diabetic parent.
Wow. I've thought about this a little bit recently, and have thought about writing a post about it. I think in the beginning, I was too rigid. I do think that. I'm grateful that Joe won't remember those times, but I remember freaking out over a piece of gum. He was 3, running in the backyard. He had found some like Hubba Bubba, and he was putting it in his mouth, and I'm like, no, and I'm yelling at my husband to grab him because I was freaking out over a 2-gram piece of gum. So I think wound a little tight as a pancreas in the beginning, and I've definitely learned to loosen up and to, make the diabetes is secondary to Joe living his life. And I'm glad I made that transition, because I don't think I was the best about that the first year or so when he was newly diagnosed.
Exactly, because diabetes shouldn't define him. He has to
Right.
He has to have his own life. So your final message to the diabetic online community, or the parents, or to the mothers out there?
You can do this, and you can do it well. Follow your child's lead, and support them along the way with their diabetes. But like you said, it doesn't define your child. And to the DOC, I love you guys. That's definitely been a huge help to me in getting to this level of acceptance.
Thank you, Reyna. Thank you so much for being on the show and sharing your thoughts, your experiences, and everything with the community out there. And it's a great help for the community. Thank you so much, and you have a nice day.
Hey, you too, BJ. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And
Bye.
Hey guys who are watching this show, please take a look at today's recipe, today's diabetes exercise and diabetes tip. And you guys have a nice day, and stay tuned for the next show. Thank you.